Coming up on the November 21st edition of Sports Extra, the field hockey team felt the agony of defeat for a second straight year. We recap the heartbreak in Norfolk.
Carolina soccer is elite. See how the men and women's team kept their championship hopes alive.
And the Citadel came to Chapel Hill undefeated, but they ain't played nobody, Paul! Well, at least nobody quite like the Tar Heels. All that and so much more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
What an exciting weekend of Carolina athletics, but unfortunately culminating in more championship despair. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Caleb Waters.
And I'm Rivers UPCHURCH. We had football, men's basketball, and 4 NCAA tournament games. But tonight's top story comes from the Field Hockey National Championship in Norfolk, Virginia. The Tar Heels played in their first time in finish it off, and Carolina moves on to the title game, defeating UConn 2-1. A Sunday's championship game saw the Tar Heels take on the Delaware Blue Hens in an instant classic, and on a chilly Sunday afternoon, Carolina had its chance at redemption and glory. UNC fell behind early after Delaware scored just 10 minutes in and went into halftime down 2-0 to the Hens. Second half offered a glimpse of the quick strike offense the Tar Heels have enjoyed all season as Lauren Moyer scored 3 minutes after the break and Malene Everett equalized for Carolina with just 7 minutes left. But the Blue Hens answered the call with the game winner just moments later, and Delaware takes home the trophy.
I can't say that it doesn't. It hurts bad because I love the University of North Carolina, and I am absolutely driven to try and bring distinction to the university. That's, first is a lot different than second. I hate to say it. It shouldn't be that big of a difference, but it sure is.
Coach has been unbelievable, and our whole team has talked about how that was one of the people we wanted to play for today. She definitely, out of anyone, really deserved this win, and we all wanted it for her. We wanted it for each other. We wanted it for ourselves.
Obviously, some strong emotions coming out of players and coaches after the game. It's a feeling that's all too familiar for this group of Tar Heels. Cue the crying Jordan. UNC has had a hard time finishing in the NCAA title game. Looks like the Heels are accustomed to losing 3-2 as well. The loss against Delaware gives the Tar Heels their 5th national title game loss in 7 years. The last championship for the field hockey program was in 2009 against Maryland.
So UNC's season ended yesterday with the loss in the championship game, but in just a few days, 5 Tar Heels will get the chance to play in a tournament on the international stage. Paul Beam has more.
UNC field hockey is one of the most accomplished athletics programs in the country. This year's team has been no exception, and as a result, 5 Carolina field hockey players have been selected to represent the United States at the 2016 Junior World Cup in Santiago, Chile.
It's really exciting. It's awesome to have something to look forward to after the Final Four, since it's immediately after. It's cool that it's a different group of girls, some that will be at the Final Four on different teams, so it's cool to come together and play for another championship right afterwards.
These 5 Tar Heels are the newest of what has been a long lineage of former Heels who have gone on to play for the U.S. national team. Head coach Karen Shelton says this is a huge advantage on the recruiting trail.
We absolutely use it in recruiting. Not only do we have junior national team members on our team, but our former players have gone on to the Olympic team. So we had 5 Tar Heels on the Rio Olympic team. We consider ourselves a breeding ground, so to speak, for the national team.
Shelton herself was a member of the U.S. national team from 1977 through 1984, so she knows how valuable this experience is for her players.
It's helpful that Coach Shelton helps us in scheduling and is super understanding of our schedules and tournaments, and she'll come and support us.
It's fair to say that the conflicting schedules of the 2 teams can interfere with the players' practice time with their UNC teammates, but Coach Shelton likes to view it in a different way.
I've always considered it a win-win. So if they're off with the junior national team practicing and getting better, when they're away, someone else is in their spot, gaining additional experience, and when they come back, we're better all the way around.
So in other words, be prepared to see even more current and former Tar Heel field hockey players donning the red, white, and blue. In Chapel Hill, I'm Paul Beam, reporting.
Well, at least some good news coming from the field hockey program, and if you want to catch those Tar Heels in action, the U.S. plays its first game of group play on Thursday against Zimbabwe. Now, it was strength versus strength in last night's men's soccer NCAA tournament showdown.
Coming into the match, Carolina had allowed the fewest goals of any team in the country, while Florida Gulf Coast had scored more than any other team in the country. FGCU wasted no time getting on the board, finding the net in the 11th minute. But Carolina answers as Zach Wright finds big man Tucker Hume in front of the goal to tie it up. After a PK put the Eagles up 2-1, and with the Tar Heels running out of time, a sweet combination play ends up with Niels Bruning sliding in for the clutch equalizer. To overtime we go, and in the second period, Nico Mello delivers this beautiful ball into the box, and there's Tucker Hume heading the golden goal in. Carolina takes the 3-2 victory and advances to take on Syracuse in the third round.
And it was also a weekend full of women's soccer. It started off with a bang as the sixth-ranked Heels rock-chalked the Jayhawks on Friday in the second round of the NCAA tournament. The Heels looked to keep their NCAA championship hopes alive, and freshman Madison Schultz did her part to make that happen. She put away that beauty in the 53rd minute and put the Heels up 1-0. In front of a crowd of almost 2,000 people, Junior Meyerworth deflects across late in the game and puts the Heels up 2-0 to seal the deal. Carolina moves on to the third round of the tournament against the Clemson Tigers. And on Sunday, a sea of blue and orange was divided in the stands, and on the field, colors clashed. Clemson totaled an aggressive 14 fouls, UNC half that with 7. The game remained scoreless for the first 70 minutes until Dorian Bailey saw her opportunity, and she's going to take it, floating this one just out of reach of the Clemson keeper. The sophomore's 4th goal of the season, and it punched the Heels' ticket to the quarterfinals against South Carolina. Now that is something to cheer about. So the women's soccer team could not have made it this far without leading scorer Bridgette ANDRZEJEWSKI. Our very own Dario Malave found out what earned her the HCC Freshman of the Year award.
They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and that is definitely true for ACC Freshman of the Year Bridgette ANDRZEJEWSKI, who comes from a long line of soccer players.
Seeing my sister play growing up, watching her play college, knowing her experience with the U.S. team for so long, it definitely motivated me to be as good as her. And especially my dad, he has a huge impact on me playing soccer. I mean, he made me play ODP 3 years up when I was so little, getting knocked around everywhere, but it made me such a strong player.
And her strength shows through her fearless approach on the field.
I think she came in already so athletic. Also, her confidence is huge on the ball.
People say when you're a freshman you feel pressure. I didn't feel pressure. I was excited.
And ANDRZEJEWSKI's coaches are just as excited about her potential.
And if she decides to commit herself to her soccer development, I am not kidding. There's nothing standing in her way. I think she has every tool in that toolbox of hers, and I'm just excited about the fact she's had an incredible freshman year, and I can't wait to see where her game goes in the course of her 4 years here.
I'm very excited to accomplish the goal of the 2020 Olympics. So me saying this right now, and 3 years from now, you're like, oh, I remember that. So
ANDRZEJEWSKI is determined to make her immediate and Tar Heel family proud, both now and 4 years from now in Tokyo. In Chapel Hill, I'm Dario Malave reporting.
It's been 3 years since the Heels made it to the quarterfinals and 4 since the most recent national championship. And get this would be the only group of seniors not to win a national championship in more than 30 years. But this group is just 3 wins away from a 23rd national title. This was UNC's last game at Fetzer Field, and the Heels will travel to the other Carolina on Friday for an Elite 8 matchup. And when Sports Extra returns, Carolina football is looking forward to feasting on the Wolfpack on Black Friday.
But first, they had some Bulldogs from the Citadel barking their way. And that was the last time I ever shotgunned a can of Cheese Whiz.
Well, that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.
You know, the good thing about TV news is the viewer can only see the waist up. So from the waist down, pretty much all bets are off around here.
Clear.
Woo!
Great show, man.
Nice show, dude. That was awesome.
But lately, the guys and I have been trying to push the boundaries a little bit.
Hey, Gage, can you come take a look at this script?
Sure, buddy. What are we working with here?
Do you think I should say scored a touchdown or threw a touchdown? Brett, can I get a second opinion on this?
Yeah, man, what's up?
I just don't know how to word the script, whether to use the word threw or scored for Mitch. Showing way too much skin. I'm like, Susie, this is work, you know? Come on, we have a certain standard here.
Yeah, come on, what is this, the south of France? This is not a nude beach, this is an office. Have some respect for yourself. Totally classless behavior.
Yeah. Guys, come on, seriously? 3rd time this week.
It was a chilly Saturday afternoon, but that didn't stall UNC's explosive offense against the Citadel Bulldogs. The dance team rolled out the American flag to honor UNC's veterans at Military Appreciation Day. The Heels scored quickly out of the gate, and this bomb from Mitch Trubisky to Ryan Switzer gave Carolina a 2-touchdown lead in the first. But TJ Logan didn't leave all the scoring to Switz. He followed that catch with a diving one-handed grab of his own and a roll into the end zone. The Heels put the Bulldogs into the loss column for the first time this year, 41-7. So to break down the convincing win against the Citadel, we bring in football analyst Lindsay Sparrow.
Lindsay, what was the Tar Heels' mindset going into this game against an FCS opponent?
Well, Larry Fedora's motto for this week was going 1-0. There's been a lot of speculation about what the future holds in the Coastal Division for the Heels, and we're going to get to that later, but he said the Heels are taking it week by week. So, and this week, the #1 FCS rush attack team came into Keenan and got shut down by the Heels. The Citadel threw the ball only 8 times in the entire game. On their first drive, the Bulldogs ran their fullback almost every one of their 11 consecutive run plays, and after that, the Heels adjusted accordingly, with the defense able to force 3 and outs, holding the Bulldogs to 8 of 17 on third down conversions. The offense was able to get back on the field and work some magic. On top of the Heels' run defense, they had some key turnovers. The Heels entered the game on Saturday as the only school in any division of the NCAA. That's 644 teams without an interception, but don't worry, the curse is over. Bulldog QB Dominique Allen decided to throw the ball, but it wasn't the best choice because Dominique Green said, "Nope, I'll take that, sir." And hey, if we're turning the tables here, might as well make it a pick six with a 58-yard return into the end zone. That was the Tar Heels' first pick six since 2014 against Notre Dame by Jeff Schottmer.
Personally, that was my main focus the whole time in the game, that once they put it in there, I got to attack the ball. And once I attack the ball, just make something happen. So I knew going in this game that if the ball touched my hands, I got to catch it.
Larry Fedora said after the game he heard that UNC was the only team in the nation that has returned all of its interceptions for touchdowns.
What a jokester. So, Lindsay, pretty successful weekend this weekend for the Carolina football team, but not our rival. NC State is coming to town on Friday. What should we expect from them then?
Well, Rivers, in my opinion, this is probably the most important game for the Heels in the entire regular season because if they can beat the Wolfpack, there is still a possibility they can come out on top of the Coastal Division. Let's take a look at these standings. There is a lot of speculation because in order for the Heels to come out on top, Virginia Tech will have to drop its game against Virginia this weekend. But regardless, NC State is fired up to come to Keenan on Friday because it's the Pac's last chance for a bowl qualification. I think the Pac's biggest threat is tailback Matt Days, who broke 1,000 yards rushing in NC State's game against Miami, the first time since 2002. He's the strongest player on State's offense with 7 100-yard performances in 11 games this season. If the Heels can shut him down on Friday, I think that they'll be in pretty good shape, but the stakes are high for both ACC teams, so it's going to be important for the Heels to be focused and execute on both sides of the ball, and you know what, just hope that Virginia Tech goes down.
Well, I think we'll all be fans of UVA football for this weekend alone. I know you will, Rivers.
Go Who's. Young Joe Upchurch will be in the stands.
Lindsay Sparrow, always bringing it. Thanks, Lindsay. Now, while State is not our rival, there have been some pretty incredible moments in the series history between Carolina and UNC Raleigh. Let's take a look at the top 3 moments since 2000. Starting things off, number 3 in the countdown, the 35 points the 14th-ranked Tar Heels put up on the unranked Wolfpack in Raleigh last year. This run by Elijah Hood made the score 35-7 to end the first quarter, and Carolina went on to win that one 45-34. Number 2, back in 2004, State is on the goal line. T.A. McClendon tries to go over the top, but fumbles. Tar Heels recover and win the game 30-24 in front of a raucous Keenan Stadium crowd. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, Gio Bernard's punt return in 2012. We'll let Jones Angel tell you about it.
Bernard fields it at the 26, heading to the far side. Gio at the 35. Gio, he's at the 50. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Gio is going to take it for a touchdown. Are you kidding me?
Maybe Ryan Switzer can pull a Gio on Friday to tie that NCAA punt return record. And maybe you like to tailgate, maybe you like to paint up for a football game. But if you're looking for something different to try on home football game days, Athletics Director Bubba Cunningham invites you to his Game Day 5K. This is the first year of the run. Organizers hope to get people excited for game day in a healthy way. The run starts at Fleet Feet in Carrboro, winds through campus's most popular spots, and usually ends up at Rise Donuts. Anyone is welcome to join the run, and not to worry, they don't run too quickly.
From the Dean Dome all the way to Honolulu, the 4th-ranked and undefeated men's basketball team kicked off its time on the island Friday, taking on the University of Hawaii. Isaiah Hicks led the way for Carolina in the first half with rebounds like that one, and Tony Bradley, he's been coming on strong too with impressive offensive plays, scoring his way to a first-ever double-double with 10 points and 13 boards. And the Heels kept that momentum going in the second half for Nate Britt. Corner three, splash, nothing but net. And check this one out again. Tony Bradley kicks it out to Nate Britt. Swap. Sinks another. The Heels win 83-68. And the 4th-ranked Tar Heels are making their 7th appearance in the Maui Invitational and will play Chaminade tonight at 11:30 on ESPN. Carolina is 2-0 against the Silver Swords all time. And if Carolina prevails tonight, the Heels will take on the winner of Oklahoma State and UConn on Tuesday. After a 30-point win against Alabama State last week, the women's basketball team showed no signs of slowing down, taking on Alabama A&M on Thursday. The Lady Heels dictated the pace of the game by turning defense into offense. Carolina's trapping led to 35 turnovers from the Bulldogs. Sophomore guard Stephanie Watts capitalized on A&M's mistakes all the way to a double-double. She singed the net from everywhere on the floor and finished with 28 points. Final score, UNC 80, Alabama A&M 35. And it was a rough start against Bucknell with the Heels just struggling to get shots to fall, but they found their groove as the game went on. Junior Jamie Cherry woke everyone up with this three. Check out the bench in the background, loving it. Everybody's up. Sophomore Stephanie Watts came alive in the second half, Euro-stepping her way to her usual double-double. And Carolina defeats Bucknell 65-50.
The volleyball team brought out their brooms. Another match, another sweep for them. Tar Heels were suffering from deja vu against the Virginia Cavaliers on Friday with another 3-0 win. Beth Nordhorn had an impressive 8 kills like this one here. She's only getting better this season, and her teammates are loving it. And no surprise here, freshman Julia Scholes led the team with 10 kills. There's one of them. Tar Heels take their second win of the season, and safe to say that we know who had the longer bus ride home.
When we come back, we know the entire world saw the epic Brock Lesnar-Goldberg clash last night at WWE Survivor Series.
But more importantly, Rivers, Carolina wrestling is back, baby.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
The wrestling team had its home opener, and it didn't take long for the Heels to look in mid-season form. On Saturday, Carolina collided with the 25th-ranked Old Dominion Monarchs, and UNC jumped in front early with pins like this one. 125-pounder James Szymanski beat his man with the rare back pin there late in the third period of their match. And for the 141-pound weight class, Joey Ward flips over the top, forces opponents back onto the mat, and put a pin in him. He's done for. Heels go on to win the match 28-12. Carolina wrestling is off to a great start, and it's because of a great Scott. Our Keegan Matheson has more about the man at the helm of Carolina's wrestling program.
Back in 2012 at the London Summer Olympics, there was only one featherweight wrestler who took home a medal for the USA. Olympic medalist Coleman Scott is now the head coach of Tar Heel Wrestling.
You know, it was incredible. You know, just the fans are going crazy. Your coaches are going crazy. I can see your family a little bit, and they're all over the place.
Even though he won the bronze medal at the time, his competitive spirit was crushed.
It hurt when you stand on the award stand and you hear somebody else's national anthem played.
He is now able to transfer this competitive spirit to the Tar Heel team.
You know, we're looking to chase national titles here. You know, we're not selling ourselves short. We're not trying to be average.
Coach Scott wrestled competitively for 24 years, and he's only 30 years old. He's a big inspiration to the guys.
Yeah, I watch all of his matches. So cool to watch. And then not knowing at all that he was going to one day be my coach. He's a real smart guy. He's really technical wrestler. But he mostly tries to connect with us. He's a young coach. He's not like an old guy. He's been wrestling, out of wrestling for 30 years. He knows what it's like to be a college wrestler in today's day and age.
Coleman Scott isn't afraid to get sweaty to put the UNC wrestling program back on the map. In Chapel Hill, I'm Keegan Matheson reporting.
Tar Heel Wrestling is hoping to continue the hot start at Appalachian State this Sunday.
Breaking a few records, the Tar Heel swimmers ended pretty strong after the 3-day invitational hosted by NC State in Greensboro. The Tar Heel women earned second place with an outstanding performance by Caroline Baldwin in the 100 free, setting a third school record. The men ended up fourth with a top 10 finish in the backstroke and an all-time record in the 400 free relay led by junior Craig Emsley. ALYSSA Dawson took first place in the 10-meter platform diving competition, earning the title of Outstanding Women's Diver of the Meet. Now, it might be No Shave November, as you can tell, but two UNC teams aren't letting that stop them from making a difference. If you've seen any lacrosse or baseball players walking around, you might notice they look a little different. The two teams got together this weekend to shave their heads in support of cancer awareness. Players also try to make an impact by visiting patients in local hospitals. Senior midfielder Brett Bedard is a cancer survivor himself.
I know firsthand what it means to have people care about you and shave your head, shave their heads with you. It's really important to have people care about you.
The UNC men's tennis team also did its part in the fight against cancer by drafting a new member to the 2016 squad. Standing 3 feet tall, mighty Mickey McCall, the 5-year-old, signed his unofficial letter of intent to the men's tennis team. When Mickey was 3, he slipped in a bathtub, rupturing a tumor no one knew existed. He was later diagnosed with leukemia. His parents, Rachel and Mark, discovered the program Team Impact after the diagnosis. Team Impact is a program that connects sick children with collegiate athletics teams to provide support and boost morale during their battle.
Some days are really tough, and then for him to be out there and showing him and his family come show support for us was great, and we were hopefully gave a lot back to them.
McCall and the players have become pretty close, playing video games and hanging out at the hospital whenever the team comes to visit.
Now, UNC and NC State will face off on Friday in football, but Lex Juarez tells us how the two have already played a rivalry game this year.
It was the red team against the blue team Sunday afternoon, but unlike other intramural football teams, this team was a mixture of college students and Special Olympic athletes.
It's a good opportunity for college kids to come and play sports with us. It's all about bonding and not all about just one-on-one with the athletes.
This is the second year UNC has had unified sports teams. Representatives from Special Olympics say these teams are just as special for students as they are for athletes.
It's really authentic, and today out on the field, we saw all the athletes were just interacting together, and it was just something that was natural, and it was just like any other sports team that you go and watch. So that's really the most exciting thing to see.
The rivalry game went into overtime with the Wolfpack taking home the win.
NC State went home with the gold today, but for these athletes, it's worth so much more than that.
It's just overwhelming, man, just to see that people take interest and actually take their time out to support people that's a part of Special Olympics.
This was Howell's second year playing unified sports. And watching him play, you wouldn't know what he battles on a daily basis.
I'm blessed to be here, and now I do dialysis 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't complain, all is well.
Athletes like Howell show us why unified sports are so special.
Seeing everyone with how they deal with their disability day in and day out and still come out here and have fun.
It's that kind of resilience and positive attitude that assured everyone went home a winner. In Chapel Hill, I'm Lex Juarez reporting.
story, but they're still not our rivals. And when we come back,
oh, sports, do we really want to talk about this?
Rivers, not all students feel Carolina fever, and we'll show you why.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
I've come up with a family emergency plan.
What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
Me too. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
UNC is a school known for its sports, but getting some breaking news here. Some students just aren't that into athletics.
Our Laura Brache spoke with two students who you won't find at a game anytime soon.
Part of the atmosphere at UNC is the athletics. So why would someone not care about rushing Frank, getting teary-eyed from watching a Dean Smith memorial, and embracing your neighbor after any Carolina victory?
I really don't have a core value for sports.
That's senior Ben Ajan, a photojournalism major at UNC. He believes competition in college sports is damaging to human interaction.
It's promoting let's find differences among one another rather than let's find things that we have in common.
You probably never wonder what the athletics department does to get people like Ajan to games or even wear a Carolina blue shirt. Alexis Barlow is the mastermind behind marketing UNC athletics.
For students that aren't really into sports, we try just to get out in front of them as much as possible.
Barlow has been director of marketing since 2014 and works with a team of specialists in a space they call the bullpen.
Anything and everything that you could need is probably in the bullpen.
T-shirts, flyers, and any other merch you've ever gotten at a Carolina game was probably designed and created by this team, even cardboard figures. But sometimes there's only so much you can do, especially with students like Cameron Trimpiwar-Hoftig, a senior Spanish literature and global studies major who grew up in a household repping a darker shade of blue.
Even though I'm not really a Carolina basketball fan, I definitely grew up liking Duke. I'm named after the basketball stadium. The important thing is I came here for, the programs of study, but, when push comes to shove, never been able to set foot in the Dean Dome or cheer for Tar Heels.
Luckily, we still have lots of fans, alumni, and students who stay true to the correct shade of blue and keep the Carolina way going. In Chapel Hill, I'm Laura Brache, reporting.
See one time for a football game as a wide-eyed young lad. Walking past the library, I saw students in there. I said to my dad, "Dad, why are they in there?" And he explained to me, some people just aren't football fans, and I had to learn that truth at a very young age. It's a hard truth to learn.
Bunch of nerds. Should have stuffed them into a locker. I'm joking. That's all right. Not everybody has to like sports. Different stuff for everybody, absolutely. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra. Thanks for watching.
Have a great night.